Heatless curls tutorial. You're going to start with some hair oil. I'm using jojoba oil, but you can use whatever you have, or you can totally skip this step. Then you're going to make sure your hair is fully brushed. I had already brushed it, so this is just making sure it's all nice and ready to go, because any tangles you have will stay in the curls, and you don't want that. Then you're going to put your tights or robe tie or whatever you're using on your head and clip away one side. You can use whatever. I just had a claw clip and put it into a little bun. Then you're going to take it and you're basically doing a French braid type idea, is where you're like pulling sections and like adding to it as you go. So the middle section will always be the tights, and then the sections on the side of it will be the hair. So you'll have the hair on one side, you're going to wrap it around and then put it back to its original starting position and do the same thing with the left side. So you're just going to take one side, wrap it all the way around. Once it gets back to its original place, then you do the other side. And as you go, before you start with each section, add a little bit more hair. Keep in mind that the hair you add will then be a curl later, so you can do them as big as you want or as small as you want. I tend to do pretty small sections, not like super small, but smaller, so then I don't have to separate them as much after the fact. So then you're just going to continue doing that all the way down the pair of tights or whatever you're using. I find a pair of tights works best because it has the foot that if you have convertible tights where you can just cut the bottom, then you can just like wrap it up, you'll see at the end, and it works really well. So then when you get to the very end, this part I always just kind of make up. I never really know what I'm doing, so just kind of try to keep the two sections going in their same directions. Usually my ends end up looking a little weird, but this is basically what I was saying. So you basically just pull up the foot part of it and wrap it around, and then I just put a hair tie to secure it, or scrunchie, whatever. That's what it looks like at the end. So you're going to do the same thing to the other side, grabbing hair, wrapping it all the way around. So keeping, basically the whole time is keeping the robe tie or tights or whatever you're using in the very middle, and the hair is wrapping around it. So the hair starts on one side, wraps all the way around, goes back to its starting place, and the tights are still in the middle. So you're just going to keep doing that all the way down. As you can see here, I'm brushing as I go to make sure don't get any knots and keeping it as tight as I can. See how you can barely see the tights through the hair? At certain places you can, but in general I try to keep them nice and tight. That makes the curls tighter in the end. So then you're going to sleep on it, or whatever you'd like to do. You can just let it sit for, the more time the better, and then you're just going to do the same thing in reverse. So you're just going to pull it apart. It's much easier to take it apart than it is to do it, but yeah, it's really pretty easy. Doing it at night usually takes me about 15 minutes, or like 12 minutes about in total, and then taking it apart 5 minutes probably in the morning. And as you go, I always, as you can see, I keep like fixing the curls if there are any like that are getting frizzy or whatever. I just like wrap them around my finger, and that helps keep them tame, at least for the time being. And they tend to last quite a while. By the end of the day, they'll be a little stretched out, especially if your hair is as long as mine. But they do stay pretty well throughout the day, especially if you use any hairspray. I didn't today, just because I didn't feel like it, but you are welcome to do so. And this is the final product. I hope you enjoyed this. Have a wonderful day and enjoy your heatless curls.